Gameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our Week 1 MAC Game of the Week preview between the Toledo Rockets and the Florida Gators. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with Toledo.
Offensively speaking, Toledo is a dangerous ball club. They have a very good running back in David Fluellen, running behind a good offensive line, which is the best in the Mid-American Conference. The receiving core is very solid, led by the explosive Bernard Reedy, who also excels on special teams. On defense, they're good in the secondary, but I'm concerned about the losses in the front seven, and that's the most critical part they're going to need entering this game versus Florida. Now let's move over to Florida in this ball game. The Gators' foundation is built up front. That's where they're going to have a lot of success, both on the offensive line as well as the defensive line. The question is the passing game. Breaking in some new wide receivers along with Jeff Driscoll's inconsistency leaves a lot to be desired. They're going to have to get up to speed right away versus the Toledo Rockets, which provide a tough test with their secondary. The X factor for Toledo entering this game will be that offensive line, the very good offensive line led by center Zach Karen, guards Greg Mance and Jeff Myers. They're going to have to keep that Florida defensive front at bay. If they can do that, Toledo will have some success moving the football. The X factor for the Florida Gators will be Jeff Driscoll, the quarterback. We know they can run the football. We know they can play stout defense, and they're talented in the secondary, but can they develop that level of balance with the passing game? That's something that we're going to watch throughout the course of the 2013 season. Now let's take a look at some of my coaching points for both teams in this matchup. For Toledo, they have to make the chances count. Anytime you get an opportunity to make a big play, you have to connect on it. And you have to keep Driscoll in the pocket, force him to prove to you that he has improved on his passing game. And Terrence Owens, the outstanding quarterback, connecting when they ask him to. We know Toledo will come in and try to run the football, in which they can. When they throw the football, Owens has to make sure he connects. Now for Florida, early establishment of the run will be key. You got to develop that dominance on the line of scrimmage in order to have some success. And tight zone coverage on defense. You do not want to turn your back to a mobile quarterback. Otherwise, you can have some problems containing Owens on a perimeter, and they have to find a role for Trey Burton early in this season. He is a tremendous playmaker. You just got to find one spot for him and allow him to be successful. Now here are some 2014 draft prospects you want to watch going into this ball game. David Fluellen, the outstanding tailback, a big back with some wiggle. Zach Karen is one of the best centers in the country, and Bernard Reedy is explosive. For Florida, Dominic Easley, the defensive tackle, 6'2", 280. Trey Burton, the athlete, you can put him anywhere as a tight end, as a running back. Luchez Purify is a guy that's an outstanding corner that will see some time on offense because he has that type of ability. And guard John Halapio is a very good interior offensive line prospect. Once Rashawn Tate was out of the mix for Toledo, the question was who's going to replace him. Chester Taylor stepped in and picked up right where Tate left off. From 1998 to 2001 was just enough time for Taylor to become the school's all-time leading rusher. Jevon Kearse, a.k.a. The Freak, started his Gators career as a safety before moving to outside linebacker before eventually moving to defensive end, in which he became a two-time first-team All-SEC performer, first-team All-American, and finished 1998 as the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I like the Gators in this ball game. They'll be tested. This is a better team in Toledo than last year's Week 1 opponent in Bowling Green, but the losses up front defensively, combined with the fact that the Gators can run the ball and are stout on both sides of the line of scrimmage, leads me to believe that they will dominate up front. It will be an ugly ball game, but look for the Gators to come out on top. But keep an eye on Toledo moving forward in the MAC, as they will be a factor.